We're surrounded by electricity pretty much 24/7. But have you ever stopped to wonder what's actually going on inside all those wires? Well, it turns out that a huge part of it is governed by this one simple but incredibly powerful rule. It's called Ohm's Law. So let's pull back the curtain and really get a feel for how it all works.
Just imagine for a second you could shrink down, like Ant-Man style, and take a look inside a live wire. You'd see it's not some calm, quiet river of energy. No way. It's this incredibly dynamic place, a constant interaction. What we call electricity is really just this fundamental dance between three invisible forces. So to really get Ohm's law, we first need to meet the three main characters in this story. I like to think of them as the push, the flow, and the opposition. Each one has a very specific job, and the way they play off each other, well, that's the whole secret to how circuits work.
All right, first up, let's talk about voltage. Think of it like this. For anything to move, to happen, you need some kind of motivation, right? A driving force. In the world of electricity, voltage is that motivation. It's the pressure, the initial push that gets the whole party started. It's the force that says, all right, let's get moving.
So, officially, voltage, which we represent with the letter V, is that electrical force, that pressure that pushes everything along, and we measure it in volts. It's really that simple. If you don't have any voltage, you don't have any push. And if you don't have any push, nothing's going anywhere. It's the absolute starting point.
Okay, so if voltage is doing all this pushing, what exactly is it pushing? And that brings us to our second character, current. The current is the actual result of that push. It's the real movement, the stream of electrical charge that's actually flowing through the wire. It's the action that we can see and use.
So current, and for this we use the letter I, is that flow of electric charge. We measure this flow in amps or amperes. So next time you see a device rated for a certain number of amps, you'll know that's telling you how much electricity is literally flowing through it every single second.
But this flow, it's not always a free ride. It's kind of like how trying to run through a swimming pool is a lot harder than running through the air, right? Well, our electrical current faces obstacles too. And that obstacle, our final character, is resistance. It's the force that's always trying to slow things down.
Resistance, which we use the letter R for, is exactly what it sounds like. It's the opposition to that flow of current. Every single material has some amount of resistance, and we measure it in a unit called ohms. The higher the resistance, the tougher it is for that current to make its way through.
So there we have it. We've got the push, which is voltage. We've got the flow, which is current, and we have the opposition, which is resistance. Now here's where it gets really cool. These three things aren't just doing their own thing randomly. They are locked together in this beautiful, simple, and totally predictable relationship.
And that predictable relationship, well, that's the star of the show today. It's Ohm's Law. It's this elegant mathematical rule that ties our three characters together. It's what allows us to know exactly how they're going to behave in basically any situation.
At its heart, the law is just common sense. It's saying that the more you push, the more voltage you apply, the more flow or current you're going to get. Makes perfect sense, right? This direct relationship between the push and the flow is the absolute key.
And here it is, the whole thing, boiled down into one perfect little equation. Voltage equals current times resistance. V equals I times R. This tiny formula is basically the backbone of all electrical engineering. It's simple, it's powerful, and you know what? It just works. Every time.
So all we're really doing here is putting our characters into the math. V is the push. I is the flow that you get because of that push. And R is the opposition that flow has to fight against. The formula just gives us the numbers behind that dance. So let's just put it all together in one place. Here's the cheat sheet. You've got voltage, the driving force, measured in volts. You've got current, the actual flow of charge, measured in amps. And you've got resistance, the opposition, measured in ohms. Three concepts, three roles, three units, all perfectly connected.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? What's the point? It's this. These three values are completely linked. You can't change one without affecting the others. If you crank up the voltage, the current has to go up. If you add more resistance, the current is going to go down. Ohm's law gives us the incredible power to predict these changes with perfect accuracy. That's the magic of it. So let's wrap up with just a final thought. This law of physics, it kind of mirrors so many other things in life, doesn't it? If voltage is the effort you put into something and current is the result you get out of it, What's playing the role of resistance? It's a fundamental pattern, not just for electricity, but for effort and outcome pretty much everywhere you look.